Hello and kia ora, and welcome to the University of Otago's third webinar in our International Business Week. We are so thrilled to have you join us today for an overview of the Otago MBA program, focusing this presentation today for international students. My name is Megan Smith. I'm from the International Marketing and Recruitment team.
Kia ora, my name is Tony Gary. I'm the MBA Director and Head of Department for Executive Programs here at Otago.
Hi everyone, my name is Yash and I'm currently the MBA candidate from University of Otago.
Hi everyone, I'm Dan Prain and I'm the Business Development Manager at the Department of Executive Programs.
Well, it's really great to have you on the line, whether you're an education consultant perhaps or a student directly considering your future MBA options. Thanks for joining us. You'll see here we've got an exciting agenda. We're really going to run through a little bit about the University of Otago, our business school, and then dive deep into the Otago MBA. We'll follow that up with a detailed look at how you actually do apply and the selection process involved. And then we'll touch briefly on accommodation and a panel discussion, which we hope will be useful for you. So just to kick start, in terms of the University of Otago, we are proud to be New Zealand's first and oldest university, and we're ranked among the top 1% of higher education institutes in the world. We're also ranked as New Zealand's top performing university for education or academic education performance, and indeed 96% of our graduates go directly into work or further study. In terms of our academic reputation, it's great to know Otago is ranked 197th best in the world by the QS rankings. That's rather impressive considering there are something like 16,000 international higher education institutes out there. We are proud to have a large number of subjects ranked highly, and in particular, at least 7 of those are in the top 100 from Otago. And indeed, for the last 12 years, 8 of those last 12 years, our teachers have won the Prime Minister's Supreme Award for Teaching. We really are proud of our teaching at Otago. It's something you can be confident in joining us. And we also have a 5-star plus rating. It's the highest rating you can have from QS as well in terms of international quality. More broadly, in terms of rankings, it's great to see a real breadth and depth of subjects at Otago being so highly recognised in terms of our research and teaching. And of course, you'll see there the MBA right up there, 37th best in the world for our online MBA, and indeed our on-campus MBA is well ranked too. But you see here a really strong spread of subjects across the university. Perhaps our most favourite one right now is that we've just recently been named the 17th most photogenic university in the world. Indeed, it's a beautiful campus to come and join. So in terms of considering your MBA options, Otago University's MBA really is a great possibility. So let's kickstart by introducing you with a short video about the Otago Business School, which is where our MBA program is housed, and then we'll move on to the MBA.
Wherever you come from, let your educational journey bring you to Otago Whakaehuaka, the University of Otago, located right here in Dunedin, New Zealand's wildlife capital. Beyond the natural beauty, you'll find a city buzzing with innovation, student life, and business opportunity. At the heart of this is where your future really takes shape. Housing New Zealand's first university has shaped Dunedin into a true student city, offering a residential campus experience that helps place us amongst the top 1% of universities globally. Te Kura Pākehī, the Otago Business School, is a hub within the university for world-leading education, innovation and collaboration. Here, we're not just preparing students for the job market, we're preparing them to take and make an impact globally. At the Otago Business School, we have a culturally responsive curriculum across all business subjects. Here you'll have access to a wide range of unique courses and degrees, from entrepreneurship to sustainable finance, all designed to help you tackle the challenges of tomorrow. With state-of-the-art facilities like the Bloomberg Markets Lab, you'll gain hands-on experience using the same tools and real-life time data as the world's leading financial firms. Guided by award-winning academics, you'll develop the skills and insights to make a real impact in your chosen field. You will also have the opportunity to take your business ideas forward with the support of local business mentors. We're proud to partner with businesses and universities worldwide, creating opportunities for international exchanges, business case competitions, and research collaborations, which enrich your learning experience and prepare you for a global career. This is where everything comes together. The experiences, connections, and skills you've gained will stay with you and make you ready to take you anywhere in the world, all backed by the global reputation of the Otago Business School. From Dunedin to the world, Otago Business School equips you with the education and experience for a successful, sustainable, and global career.
Fantastic, and indeed it is in that fabulous building location that you will find the MBA program in our business school. And certainly, as you heard from the Pro-Vice Chancellor for the Business School, the university is really proud of the strong and diverse research at our business school and the excellence in the teaching and the great student experiences we can offer. But crucially, it's all about connections, and that's one of the wonderful benefits of studying at Otago and in a city location size like Dunedin, because we have such close industry ties. It's easy and accessible to connect with fellow students, with academics, with industry, and with alumni. And those opportunities really lead to us connecting more broadly, locally, nationally, and internationally, and gaining greater access to entrepreneurial activity or external engagement, and chances to interact more closely with businesses. So the fact that our graduates do so well, business graduates coming out of Otago, 95% of them go straight into employment or further study, is a really great starting point to consider. In terms of our business school, we are indeed accredited by EQUIS and the AACSB, and we're also involved in a number of prestigious international business school networks, including the AAPBS and PIM networks, along with other prestigious universities. So there's a number of exciting recognitions that we're particularly proud of, but let's focus in now on the MBA, and it feels like a good time to bring in Tony as we consider some of these exciting rankings too.
Thank you, Megan. Yeah, I have the privilege of, as I say, being the MBA director, and the MBA director oversees the course, but also the quality of the course. So I'm particularly proud of some of the metrics around the MBA. I mean, first of all, it was the first MBA in New Zealand. So we've got a couple of great anniversaries happening at the moment. First of all, it's the 50th anniversary of the MBA next year. So if you do come over here next year, you'll certainly get some involvement in that. And it's also the 10th anniversary of the online MBA. QS, the QS rankings have ranked as the #1 MBA in New Zealand, but also 7th in Oceania. And as Megan has stated, the online MBA is ranked 37th in the world. But perhaps I might add another statistic there. On one of those dimensions, which is classroom experience, we're ranked 1st in the world by QS. And what I would like to emphasize is we use the same lecturers for the on-campus MBA. So that experience is very much replicated in the classroom. And of course, we're ranked in as one of the top 200 MBAs globally.
Brilliant. That's very impressive, Tony, I must
Thank
say. So let's dig a little deeper now into the actual MBA structure and get a sense for how the flow is, how long it takes, and so forth. So I'll hand back to you, Tony.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll focus on the full-time MBA. So that's divided into 2 parts, and part 1 really is designed to equip students with an oversight of all the business disciplines. So it comprises of law, accounting, marketing, economics, people and culture, transformational leadership, investment in global finance. And then towards the end of the core, we move on to those more holistic, overarching courses. So we're looking there at strategic planning, we're looking at strategic implementation, we're looking at international business, and we're also looking at the importance of a sustainable business in the global marketplace. So if we move on to phase 2, well, one thing I should emphasize as well is for the on-campus cohorts, we do have a live project, for example. We're very keen on the interactive nature of the MBA. It's very much practical and applied with case studies, but also live business projects. So what we do as part and parcel of that is students are allocated a business in teams with a challenge or a problem. Could be growth, could be return on investment, could be overseas expansion. And teams have to work intensively with the business over a 6-week period as consultants to actually develop solutions to their challenge.
That's exciting. And this was part of phase 1, which is the first half of the program.
That's
is that
right.
Yeah, for the on-campus students.
Yeah, so that lasts about a year. But we also, alongside those sort of core disciplines, we have a number of extracurricular activities. So we have a number of guest speakers that come in throughout the program, share their experiences, their business careers, tips and so on, but also look at ways of developing your professional profile. So your LinkedIn profile, for example, and also we have someone come in and coach the students on doing an elevator pitch, on HR related activities such as how to interview well. But also we have a mentor program. So each of our on-campus students is allocated their own individual mentor from the local business community and so on. But we'll maybe dive down into that a little bit more later on in terms of that. So phase 2, our students have one of 3 options. The first is the professional consultancy option, which is basically a significant piece of consultancy work that students are expected to carry out. So again, in more depth than the live project, but similar to it, students identify an organizational challenge or business problem that requires a solution, and they really dive deeply into that organization, look at potential options, and advise and present the organization with a report after. Other students like to do our intensive short courses. So these run over a period of just over 3 weeks. So each course is 3 full days with a day's gap in between. So these build on part 1, but dive into particular areas of what are often very contemporary or hot topics within the business world. So systems thinking and wicked problems, global supply chain innovation. For the more entrepreneurial out there, finance for startups, selling to global enterprises, but also strategic project management. So these are short, they're intensive, they're also done with our inward exchange students and our online students. So there's a real diversity of thoughts, opinions, sharing of experiences within that at the global perspective as well.
Brilliant. You mentioned exchange actually there.
Yeah. So as well as inward exchange, we also have outward exchange, which a number of our students also opt to do. So we have exchange agreements with quite prestigious MBAs out there, such as National University of Singapore. Duke is always very popular, Copenhagen, and so on. So students complete their phase 2 point requirements overseas.
So you could gain a truly global MBA by
right.
taking up this option by coming to Otago. Yeah. Fantastic. So I know that we're going to come back to some of these courses and some of these examples you've discussed when we widen up the panel, but let's already get a sense of what does it take to actually get into the program, and then we can return to some of that content and experience in the class. So now feels like a good time to bring in Dan, who's a critical colleague involved in this application process. So Dan, take it away. What do you need to even be considered for the MBA at Otago?
Sure, thanks, Megan. Okay, look, we'll just quickly go through the key steps required as part of the application process. Starts off with the basic entry requirements up there on the slide. So what we're basically looking for is a bachelor degree in any major. There's no requirement stipulated there at all, plus a minimum of 3 years work experience. And that work experience ideally will be at the professional level, or in other words, in skilled employment. For those people who don't have a bachelor's degree, they can substitute that with a minimum of 5 years work experience at management level. Okay. So bachelor degree, 3 years work experience. And then the third part of that is to successfully complete the MBA selection process, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Okie dokes, let's go into that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Dan, on the line, I know that we've got a number of our education consultant colleagues and others who may have joined us with the last business webinars where we talk about our e-vision application process. But the MBA program has a different application series of steps, and that's really important to know. So, in fact, the first step to apply is not through our regular e-vision application, but rather to be straight to the MBA website.
Absolutely, and so that's step one up there. Please go straight to the Otago, Google, or whichever way you want to navigate through to the Otago MBA website. You can see the homepage there, and just underneath the head title there with the blue banner is the yellow Apply Now button, and that'll take you through to the Otago MBA application form, which won't take long to fill out. The key thing with that form is you must attach your most recent copy of your CV.
Right, okay.
Then, once we've received the application and made our initial assessment, we will review those earlier requirements, the bachelor degree and the work experience. If everything looks good at that stage, we'll progress you to the next step of the selection process, which is the test. Okay, so MBA applicants have the choice of either taking our Otago MBA admissions test or providing a GMAT, or this year we've also begun accepting the GRE. So perhaps I could talk a little bit about the Otago test, which would be what probably applicants are least familiar with.
Yes.
Should we hop back a slide?
Sorry, it's just flicked my mistake.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the majority of our applicants now will sit the Otago test rather than provide a GMAT, although we warmly welcome GMATs if people already have completed them. The Otago test is completed online, so you can do it online from home anywhere in the world, okay? And all it is a case study analysis where we send you a business case study by email a week prior to the test, and then we arrange a time for you to sit the test, usually on the weekend, for an hour and a half and answer 3 questions in writing on your computer related to the business case that we've sent you. So relatively straightforward and simple process.
It says there that the test is completed by video conference. Can you clarify that?
Yeah, so this is just a way for us to safely supervise the test. So we will have a test supervisor monitoring from the beginning to the end to make sure it's you sitting the test. They'll complete an ID check at the beginning and answer any questions, and then they'll release the 3 questions to the candidate.
That's great. That's helpful.
Following the test, which will then be sent back to us for assessment, where we try to get back to all the applicants within about a week with the turnaround on the result. And if that's positive, then we'll progress you through to the interview. At the interview, again, it'll be either on Zoom or Teams. And as part of that interview, we will ask the applicants to give a short verbal presentation. Following that, we will just have a bit of a Q&A around the applicants' motivations for taking the MBA and what they've been doing career-wise to date.
Great.
Finally, step 4, we would be able to make a decision after the interview, and we usually get back to the candidates pretty quick with the result. Once we have decided the case and hopefully invited the candidate onto the program, then we will provide the details about the final university admissions application.
All right, so this is that's really helpful, Dan, because I think that's unknown to a lot of people that this application process takes place first before the official moving on to the traditional university admission system part of it all.
Yeah, correct.
So that once you've had confirmation that MBA would love to have you on the program, then we kickstart.
Sure, yeah, and then it's really the final process where you just follow all the standard university admissions steps, create your own student account, and then make sure that you fully submit your application. It's pretty important. And this will be the stage where you'll need to provide all your academic supporting documents. So it's really important that you've got all of your degree certificates and academic transcripts from your previous higher education qualifications.
Dan, is there something that the MBA program provides? Like, should they upload the email that says fantastic, where the MBA program would love to invite you to apply formally now, or?
No, that's all going to work in the background.
Internal. Perfect. That's great to know. Okay, so that was a crucial part of the application process there. And in terms of the key dates, this is obviously another key piece of information. So for those of you considering kickstarting your MBA journey for next year, now is actually the time to apply.
Definitely.
So you want to head over to the MBA website and get underway with that first process to submit your application to MBA directly and see how you progress along there. Late November would be quite a late application really for you, wouldn't it?
At the latest point,
Now, there may be some of you who specifically are considering the online MBA for various circumstances, and that's fine too. For that, the next intake will be in April next year, and you would need to get your application in by mid-February at latest. Again, same process, whether you do online or on campus. But we'd certainly love to welcome you on our campus, which is the 17th most beautiful photogenic, as we just heard recently, which is great. Now, rolling admissions, what does that mean at a practical level?
Basically, we take applications at any time.
Great.
Right? And we'll just keep the applicant informed about when the next available intake is.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, and of course, class sizes, they are limited.
For online, for the online MBA, there is a limitation. For on-campus, no.
So, but apply early, apply now would be the key message.
Absolutely.
Get started.
Yeah.
Now, just sort of widening things out a little bit in terms of how at a practical level might things work out for you, just letting you know that at the University of Otago, we do have accommodation options for our postgraduate or executive learners, such as the MBA candidates. And that looks like a university flat or a uni flat, as we call them. These are houses that the university owns that are dotted around the campus area, so walking distance to the business school. And here we would match you up with other more experienced or postgraduate students, and you'd have a private room at shared living facilities. So effectively flatting together with other students. So that's just handy to know that you can apply for that. Okay, well, we've had a bit of an introduction in terms of the outline of the program and the crucial part of how you actually apply. But let's now dig a bit deeper into the MBA, and it's great to have our panel members here, especially having Yash as a current candidate, MBA candidate, and of course Tony. So just keen to open it up in terms of what are the academic expectations being on this program? What is the workload going to look like?
Sure, yeah. Well, perhaps I could talk a little bit about the MBA itself. Of course, it is an applied course. So what we're looking at is a the outcomes of where your career prospects, your personal development in terms of those are emphasised and improved throughout that. But also in terms of that peer-to-peer learning as well. So if we look at the structure of the papers, we have 6 terms with 2 papers in each term. And each paper consists of 70% individual assessment, 30% group assessment. So there's a big emphasis on what we call the syndicate groups, where students share their experiences. They tend to be from very diverse backgrounds in terms of their professions, their career paths, even which part of the world they've come from. And they bring that to these sort of problem-solving and engaging conversations that much of the course focuses on in terms of case studies and so on. So aside that, we also have this what we call almost parallel curriculum, where we're always looking at improving the skills the students have in terms of how they present themselves, advice they can get on careers, and so on and so forth. But perhaps, Yash, you could comment on that.
Very interested to hear.
Yeah, so like for an international student, the current MBA program is the best. Because as an MBA student, our first expectation was to be a leader. And we wanted to pursue ourselves as a leader in the industry. And the program is designed in that exactly the same way. So they focus not on the academic, even on your personal and the social development, how you wanted to be in the culture and how you wanted to be in the industry. So even the class is very versatile. You have people from different background, from different experience. So you will not learn from only from the textbook. You will learn from the experience. So which is very good.
And I'm thinking about that mentor opportunity that exists within the MBA. I think that's quite unique in the New Zealand context. How does that look for you?
Yeah, mentorship is one of the best key feature of the program, because this feature is not offered normally by any other MBA program. So you get to know and understand what kind of industry you wanted to pursue and what are the current opportunity, and the mentor will guide you in the exact same way. Because I'm from the India and I was not aware of the New Zealand culture and the industry, what should be the business exactly. My mentor is helping me in analyzing each and every step. So which is very good, yeah, and helpful.
So what we do with each of our MBA candidates is we look quite closely at their background and what their aspirations are, and then we try and match them up with their own individual mentor that perhaps can offer them more in-depth guidance and so on. So that we do go through quite a detailed planning process. So
Process. That's great.
Matching, it seems to be successful.
And in terms of guest lecturers, what does that look like? How often does that happen, or how does that kind of engagement pan out?
So guest lecturers are I'll say we have guest lecturer every alternate weeks, and we have lectures from different backgrounds and on different topics. So last time we had a discussion on the elevator pitch, which is very important, how you should introduce yourself when you are meeting to a new person. And that session was really helpful for even the entire class was saying that this session was exactly what we wanted, and it was totally great. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Yash, you're about halfway through the program at this stage. So you've completed the core papers that were in that first half that we briefly touched on. Can you suggest any highlights from your experience or topics that were particularly useful and interesting? Yeah.
So I'll say that I'm from an academic and even from a work experience, I'm from the marketing background. So I was not aware of the other parts of the business, which was the accounting, financing, sustainable enterprises, people and culture. And currently I'm pretty good in it. And I'll say that textbook and even the discussion in the class really helped me to evolve and understand the core business and opportunities for future.
Great. And then if we have actually, Yash, I was just going to ask, the workload, how is it for you? How would you describe that to folks sitting out there listening in?
Workload is, I won't say it is a workload. So if you're able to manage your time, and the program is designed in such a simple and in favor of the student, that you will be able to manage everything, and you will be able to do more things apart from your academics. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. A bit of life balance in the mix too. In terms of the class experience and hands-on, we've got a wee bit of footage showing you around where the actual MBA classes are. But in terms of that class experience, what kind of class sizes do you enjoy typically? That will vary somewhat, I imagine.
Usually they're around the 18 to 22 students. Mixture of part-timers as well as full-timers. So again, that breadth of sharing of experiences and so on. And we're very conscious of that in terms of students having the opportunity to continually engage with each other and obviously the lecturers that they're with. And a large part of that, as we keep emphasising, is that interactivity and engagement in terms of that. So, you know, we've mentioned, for example, the group work. Well, the groups change every 6 weeks as well. So you will have the opportunity to work with everyone in the cohort and learn from them. And we do find that really develops a strong cohort cohesiveness that goes on long after the students have moved on and graduated. And a good example of that was perhaps last year when we had what we call MBA 47. And I was contacted by someone from MBA 17, so 30 years ago, who said, you know, there's a group of us from MBA 17, we'd love to come down on campus and meet the students. So even after 30 years.
That's great, there's an active alumni group.
And, you know, they came on down, met the students, and had a great afternoon.
So my sense from that is that the kind of class culture is certainly not competitive, but much rather collaborative.
Yes, collaborative and supportive. So we have people from different background and from different country, which make the classroom very versatile and diverse. So you're not getting the exposure for the New Zealand industry, you're getting the international exposure, because everyone will share their experience, how they landed up in the MBA program and what was their background, which company they were working on. So it is very nice because normally you will not get that kind of exposure in any other MBA program.
Fantastic. And of course, it's not just about life in the classroom, it's life outside the classroom as well. And just giving you a few visuals there to show you that sense of nature, the old and the new, in terms of it's a stunning campus, but more importantly, there's a lot of things going on. And, you know, that opportunity to connect with folk or keep your lifestyle healthy in the mix there too. What about faculty support and the resources offered to students? What can you share with us around that, Tony?
Well, I think in terms of that, again, you know, it's the alumni, it's the mentors, but we also encourage students to look externally at other activities within the business school. So, you know, we emphasise the importance of engaging perhaps in social contribution. So we encourage students to do what we call Ignite, where they can also form groups to solve social problems or challenges over a short period of time. And what we find is they mix with teams of undergraduates as well. So again, it gives them the ability, as well as being mentored, to be mentees as well to other students, which perhaps allows them to hone those leadership skills that Yash was talking about, but also other opportunities. So, you know, quite a number of our students are quite entrepreneurial in their approach and thinking. So there's an organisation run by a startup Dunedin called Audacious, which I think you've been involved in.
Tell us about that one, Yash.
So Audacious is one of the good experience for me, because I went there and joined the program in March, I suppose, and the first day I entered the room, it was very versatile and people from different background was there. and everyone has like the same motive they were focusing on the learning. So if you have like a learning mindset, Audacious is one of the best place to be there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And if anyone on the line caught our webinars from the last 2 days on this Business Week, we had Grace from Startup joining us
Oh, right,
on
okay.
the undergraduate one as well. So that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and aside from that, we've got very strong connections with Business South, which is a network of local businesses within the Otago and Southland region, but also with the local branch of the Institute of Directors.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking about resources. So in terms of readings and materials, that's something that's provided to you, or do you need to, what kind of resources, how does that look for you?
For me, like every single resource will be provided by the lecturer, and you don't have to like worry about any other thing. And they'll tell you the exact thing what you have to read, and if you wanted to go beyond that, they are okay with that. They will not restrict you, and they will even promote you for that. And yeah, so
it's great knowing that it's built into the program, which is good. And just in terms of broader support for students at Otago, there are, of course, a range of services, whether that's from disability information and support or student learning development, international student support specialists, visa support and so forth, as well as, of course, the excellent academic support from the MBA program as well. And of course, student health is another important topic to know that that is well covered at Otago with the campus, student health right on campus, easy walking distance. And one of our favourite facilities is the excellent Unipole Fitness Centre, which has an extensive series of gym equipment, courts, recreational areas, and hiring out equipment too, which is pretty fun. Worth noting that Otago is indeed an inclusive campus with a range of people and a range of services to support you through your study and career journey with us. So speaking of careers, let's talk a little bit more about how the MBA enhances your career and that pathway. Tony, do you want to kick off on that?
Yeah, sure. So, a lot of our activities on the MBA are geared towards that career progression and your career aspirations. And every year we conduct what we call a graduate opinion survey, where students who graduated 3 or 4 years ago are contacted and asked to complete a questionnaire about where they are and how well the course equipped them for their present positions moving forward. And we always get very, very satisfactory feedback. I'd go beyond that and say outstanding, actually. So, in the good to very good, frequently up there in the 90s or even 100%. But also in terms of the amount students earn post-qualification is very often highlighted as well. So we're really, really proud of those sorts of statistics. And retrospectively, they all talk about the quality of the classroom experience that they've had and how much that and all that holistic student experience, that holistic MBA journey has brought them to where they are and how much it's aligned and helped them get where they are.
And does that resonate with you, Yash? You're seeing some of those attributes or some of the feedback that we receive from our alumni. You're seeing that already come into play, hopefully.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because before the MBA program, I was facing challenges majorly in the confidence building. And MBA program has helped me in building the confidence, because there are regular presentations, you will interact with new people, how you should communicate, what you should communicate. All the things will develop your personality and build your confidence.
Fantastic. Now here, this is a great one for you, Dan. We're looking for tips, application and interview tips, and we certainly want to hear from you, Yash, having gone through this not so long ago. So, what does make an application stand out?
Yeah, right. Good question. I would say step one, as we've just emphasised, is to make the application in the right place, right? Because that without getting it through the MBA website, it could cause delays. So getting it in front of us early on is going to be crucial. Obviously, a well-organised, up-to-date CV is what we're looking for, with that relevant work experience. And then following that, it's going to be your performance on and through the MBA selection process.
And what can you remember, Yash, or what would you tip to prospective candidates out there?
I'll say the interview is the most crucial part, because when I was appearing for the interview and met Dan for the very first time on a digital screen, I was really nervous. So for my, the pro tip will be be natural, be transparent who you are, and present yourself the way you are. And don't consider that as in a job interview. This is not a job interview. Yeah. So
that's interesting. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And Tony, from your perspective, I'm not sure if you're involved in that process, but curious to hear what stands out for you.
Yeah. Certainly, what we're looking for is that diversity of experience that students can bring, both professionally, but in terms of their experiences, maybe outside their career as well. So we always have some very interesting hobbies and extracurricular activities that students do, and once they get here, very often get other students involved. So from what I gathered, there's a bit of a badminton club at the moment. Is that correct?
The club is very famous. Yes.
Yes, the MBA badminton club. But also, I think what I find very nice is the number of students that do other activities, such as going on trips or tramping or trekking. Lots of outdoor opportunities that a lot of students who perhaps come from other countries or climates haven't really participated in, and it opens up that whole new experience.
Try something new.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I look at some of the Otago application tests, the OATs. So what I'm looking for there is that structured, applied, pragmatic answers to case studies, and the problems that they can throw up at students.
Now, of course, in terms of key steps after the admission offer, it's vital to accept the offer. And indeed, there are a few other steps that you get guided through following on. But some of those steps include, of course, applying for your visa nice and early, and of course, paying the relevant tuition fee and so forth. But making sure you've got the documentation ready to make a complete application for a student visa is a very important part of the process. And then applying for accommodation as well. Just taking away some of those big barriers. We get onto those sorts of steps nice and early, but Dan and the team help guide you along that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so in terms of career preparation, the MBA program, we've heard a lot about industry connections and guest speakers. What about that kind of networking, career and networking kind of opportunity? What's happening in that space for our MBA candidates?
Yeah, so maybe if I could talk about the mentor events. So as well as allocating the one-to-one mentors, 3 or 4 times a year, we bring all the mentors together on campus and all the students, and they get to meet all the other mentors as well. So there is the opportunity there to network out of that, and I certainly think 1 or 2 opportunities have arisen, but also with the guest speakers. So Paul Foster Bell was one of our guest speakers, and Yashin connected with him. And well, would you like to explain what the outcome was?
Yeah. So as an international student, our main concern is about the understanding the culture and the industry. So there was a lecture by Paul, and he's a really good person. I know him from very past few weeks, and the thing is, after that lecture, I was able to understand how exactly the industry work and what things I should consider if I'll be in a leadership role or in a managerial role after my MBA, which I really wanted to offer. And that thing really helped me and to make my decision more clear about it. Yeah.
Mm. And aren't you doing some work in that area now for Paul?
Yeah, and I've recently started my internship with Paul, which is a great opportunity. If you get an internship here, nothing good. Yeah.
Mm. And what we also have connections with is Business South. So our students frequently go to their presentations and events. And also, as talked about earlier, the Institute of Directors, as well as Startup Dunedin and so on.
Conveniently right there. Well, that's great. And of course, in terms of working at this, which is kind of the ultimate goal, is enhancing your career path opportunities. But it's worth noting that as an international student in New Zealand, the student visa usually allows for you to work part-time during your studies, around 20 hours a week. And you are usually then able to apply for the post-study work rights visa, which is usually valid for up to 3 years. So that's a fantastic opportunity to stay on in New Zealand and further take on some of those networking opportunities and pick up the experience here to take before you maybe return to another country, or you may wish to continue on here. So great opportunities as an international student here in New Zealand in that regard. Well, let's move on to, we've received some questions from some of you as when you registered for the webinar or during this event. So thank you for that, and we'll throw some of these out to the panel. So first of all, does this course require work experience? Which, Dan, you've touched on.
Yeah, I think we've touched on that. We're looking for a minimum of 3 years work experience.
Perfect. What about, does the program allow flexibility for that kind of enrollment timeline if there's a need to defer admission?
Yeah, absolutely. We can defer applications to the following intake the year later, and the candidates won't need to go through the MBA selection process again.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Perfect. We have one of our education consultants asking, compared to other universities, what are the advantages of taking the MBA at Otago? Tony?
Well, I would say it's that holistic experience. So small, very interactive classes, the opportunity to interact with both lecturers, but also guest speakers, that mentoring scheme, the one-to-one, but also to meet those other mentors, our connections with Business South and industry, but also that real focus on it being applied to equip you with those skills and with that expertise to move on in your careers.
Anything you'd like to add to that, Yash, from your kind of...
I think Tony has covered most of the major things which the MBA program offer. But apart from that, the experience that MBA program offer is more important. And even the life you'll be living in the New Zealand, it's totally good.
That's great. Now, here's a good practical question that someone, I've already applied for the Master of Business, one of the specializations for the Master of Business program. Could I still apply for the MBA?
Most certainly. Yep. Just go through to the Otago MBA website and get that application in.
I think that's a really important one to remember. To apply for the MBA, you've got to go to the MBA website and do the special MBA online application as the first step. And then that leads you through the selection process. And once confirmed, then you move on to the normal university admissions kind of application part. So that's great to know. You can actually apply and be considered and offered admission for the Master of Business, and potentially also be working through in parallel a process with the MBA, and then make that decision if and when the time comes.
Sure.
Lastly, I have a question here. Can you tell us about the sort of future prospects after the MBA?
Yes. We have a very, very high employment rate, well into the 90s, so 90% plus. with a lot of students staying within New Zealand, choosing to stay, particularly international students, and working in New Zealand and actually settling in New Zealand with their families. We also have a number of students that have returned back to their home countries and are doing very, very well. They find that the MBA does offer those opportunities to perhaps open doors that weren't open before, within particular careers and so on.
And then from a specific country perspective, we've got an inquiry here around any particular perks or benefits for doing the Otago MBA, having come from Southeast Asia, and another query from India, similar kind of questions. How might that look? How might that look for students from different countries in terms of the prospects after?
Well, maybe Yash could talk about that. What attracted you to the Otago MBA as opposed to all the other MBAs you could have selected?
Yeah, I think for me, the first checklist point was the classroom size and the international exposure, which I always wanted to have it. And even like the curricular they offer is good.
Yeah. So I think it is, taken holistically, it's that whole experience, the classroom experience, that sort of parallel career-ready development, the networking experience. But I also think, the Otago University student, but then that New Zealand experience as well. It's pretty unique package that we offer.
Well, certainly we welcome students from across the globe, and it makes for an exciting networking opportunity here too, and we welcome those different perspectives and the chance to grow in our career journeys together with you. So I think with that, we have quite a few queries still coming in the back end, which is great, and our team will continue to answer those even after we finish today. So if you haven't had your question answered, we'll be following up with those. And of course, I wanted to just highlight to you a key contact email address for those specifically interested in the MBA program, and that is straight to the MBA team with Dan here and colleagues who can help you with that, specifically about the Otago MBA program. Any last comments or thoughts you'd like to share with the team?
Make the right decision.
Apply now.
Apply now. We really look forward to welcoming you down here in Otago.
I think, as you highlighted, Tony, the fact that we have been rated as the best classroom experience in the world for the sub-MBA particular rating really says it all. So we do welcome you to New Zealand and to the University of Otago MBA program, and look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you.